Hello, I'm Jill at engVid, and today we have a lesson on a pronunciation of this sound, okay? So it can be rather tricky to do because it involves two different consonant sounds, really. You've got the ng, which is a bit like when you have ing, it's sort of in your throat, like that, ng. But it's followed by th, like that. So if you don't have either of those sounds in your own native language, this will be, it will take you a bit of time to learn it if you haven't already. Maybe one of these you have in your own language, but not the other. So it just takes a little bit of time. So, so it's the sound in your throat for and then followed by th, where you bring your tongue forward to touch the back of your top teeth. Th, like that. Okay, so you'll be glad to know that not many words contain this sound. There are two main basic words, which is length and strength in English, but they sort of expand into, they're the sort of root words for a lot of longer words that contain that word. So that's why I've written them all up here. They're all the ones I can think of that contain the sound. So let's just go through and see how we get on. So we have length, lengths, lengthen. So that this is then the verb. To make something longer is to lengthen it. Okay. Lengthening. So you've got an ing sound at the end as well as the ngs in the middle. Lengthening, lengthening, like that. And lengthened, lengthened. Okay. Then we have the adjective, lengthy. So you might say that was a lengthy explanation or a lengthy lecture or lesson. That was lengthy, longer than usual, perhaps, lengthy. And then we have the comparative and the superlative, lengthier and lengthiest, right? So this is very good for vocabulary as well, the way one root word, length, can expand into lots of other words to help you expand your vocabulary. Okay, so lengthy, lengthier, lengthiest. So try to say it along with me as we go through and see if you can get the right sound. And then we have lengthways and lengthwise, which mean the same thing, really. If you put something on a table from one end to the other, maybe a piece of string or a ribbon or something like that, you're putting it lengthways on the table, lengthways or lengthwise, from the longer, going the longer way, not the shorter width ways, but the long lengthways. Okay. And then wavelength and wavelengths, to do with in physics, you know, or in radio technology, you have a wavelength that you tune into for a particular radio station, that sort of thing. Okay, so wavelength, wavelengths. Right, so those are all the words with length as the base. Now let's do the strength words. So let's just recap again. Ngth, ngth, So you have to do something in your throat here. you have to do something with the muscles to get right down in your throat. And then it's always in front of it, engs. That's the vowel sound that comes in front of it, an E. So engs, like that. Okay, so let's carry on with strength and strengths. If you go for a job interview, they often ask you, what are your strengths and weaknesses? So here's strengths. Strengthen, so the verb to make something stronger is to strengthen it, strengthen, and strengthening, and strengthened. Okay. And then we have super strength, under strength, meaning not strong enough, probably, under strength. Super strength would be very strong. Under strength is not strong enough. And then unstrengthened is something that has not been made stronger. Unstrengthened. Okay. Right, and then we have 3 sentences to end with. So let's just try these. I haven't got the strength to swim a length. So in the swimming pool, the length is the longer distance. The width is the shorter distance that goes across, the width, but this is the length. So I haven't got the strength to swim a length. Okay. And then he went to great lengths to increase his strength. So that means to go to great lengths is to do a lot, to try very hard, to try lots of different ways, possibly. He went to great lengths to increase his strength. Right. And then finally, she gave me a lengthy explanation, a long explanation, but his explanation was even lengthier. Okay, she gave me a lengthy explanation, but his explanation was even lengthier. Right, okay, so engs. If you put your fingers here to feel your throat, engs. You might just, if you're not quite sure yet, you have to sort of feel it and do it out loud. Don't just think it in your head. You have to do it out loud. Okay, engs. So just to finish with, I will just read through these again at a normal speed without too much emphasis so that you can hear it in a natural way. Okay, so here we go. Ready? So length, lengths, lengthen, lengthening, lengthened, lengthy, lengthier, lengthiest, lengthways, lengthwise, wavelength, wavelengths, strength, strengths, strengthen, strengthening, strengthened, superstrength, understrength, unstrengthened. Okay, so I hope that's been helpful to give you perhaps a new pronunciation and also to introduce you to some new words or the expanded words that come from length and strength. So thank you for watching and hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.